بإسلامي وإيماني أضاء الكون وزمن بإسلامي وإيماني أضاء الكون وزمن.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode of Stranger's Perspective. And in this episode, we'll be talking about halal, haram money, halal vibes. In the last episode, we talked about judging without judging, and we shared our experience, different experiences we had with judging, and then how we've been able to deal with judging. And yes, in this episode, we'll be talking about halal money, haram money, and halal vibes. So the background behind this topic is that, well, we all need to earn a living to survive, right? But how do we, as Muslims, how do we stay within the boundaries that Allah has defined for us? And how do we not fall into things that Allah does not want us to fall into? So basically, how do we keep hold of our taqwa and not go into things that Allah does not want us to go into? So that's basically what this episode is going to be about. Once again, I'm Ibrahim, and I have here with me Abdullah and Bukoya. So let's get started. So can we, with Abdullah and Bukoya, can you just maybe give some background information on this topic? What do you think about this topic? Haram money, halal money, haram vibes, halal money, halal vibes. I think there's some variation to that topic.
Well, it's a very interesting topic. Assalamu alaikum everyone. So there's halal money, there's halal money, halal vibes, there's haram money, haram vibes, and also there's haram money, halal vibes, whichever one anybody is doing. So I feel like the topic is going to expatiate more on the different categories that are present, right? Whichever one we all fit into. So it's a topic I like personally anyways. So I'm here not just to speak about what I know, but also like to learn from other people, like learn from other people's experiences and what they think, what they think as well. So yeah, that's all I can say for now. That was just all I can say for now.
Jazakumullah khairan for that intro. So Abdullah, you can also give some background on this topic.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
So like Ruqayya says, we can have haram money, haram vibes, like all those variations. So it feels like there are two categories of people, right? So there's the category of people that doesn't really care about where they earn their income, right? So there's this saying that haram service scarce. So why are you telling us to go and handle halal? Well, haram itself is scarce. Like people are fighting over haram, yet you are saying we should go and earn the halal way. So this are one category of people. So they don't even care where they earn their money from. And there's the category of people that they feel like they are so pious, like subhanallah, iman, like mashallah, that they want to distance themselves away from anything, like, you know, seeking the world, seeking some part of the world, like some means of earning, means of sustaining the family and stuff like that. So it's not something that we know that Islam preaches to us. Islam preaches balance between these two. So like the ayah in Quran, there are those of them that they say, Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhaban nar. That Allah grant us in this dunya, good in this dunya and good in the next one to come. So this is actually a dua that's from an authentic report that the Prophet ﷺ says a lot. So this dua says, the hadith talks about that the Prophet ﷺ likes to say encompassing dua. So encompassing dua in the sense that if he says just small sentence like this, it has encompassed a lot of things. And one of those dua that he says a lot is Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhaban nar. So part of this is, oh Allah, grant us good in this world. So if the world is not of importance at all, it would have been Rabbana atina fil akhirati hasana faqat. So it will not include dunya, but it includes both because we have to sustain ourselves both in this dunya and we have to seek for akhirah. So like the ayah وَابْتَغِ فِيمَا آتَاكَ اللَّهُ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا, that you should. So this ayah is very encompassing, and like scholars go on and on to explain in depth into this ayah. So, but the point that I want to take out of this is that we should not forget our portion of the dunya. So we should strive to get, it's not bad thing to wear good clothes. In fact, you have to wear good clothes. So like Allah told the Prophet, one of the first commandments of Islam is that your clothes should be neat when you are going to meet people. So we want to wear good clothes. We want to, sustain our family and all of that. So we need some part of the dunya. So, but at the same time, this is not the main goal. This is not the main goal. This is just part of it. So we want to use the dunya to achieve the akhirah. So that's why it is what Allah has blessed us with in this dunya. I want to use it to achieve the akhirah. So akhirah is the ultimate goal, but just because of that, we cannot abandon dunya totally. So we have to find a way to balance between the two. And that's like the introduction that I have for this topic.
MashaAllah, Jazakumullah khair. That's a very encompassing introduction. So I think one very important thing I picked from your intro is that we have like people going to the extremes too much. So we have like two opposite extremes. You have some people, they just want to do like too much of the akhirah, too much focus on the akhirah. And some people, it's not like too much focus, but focusing on the akhirah and neglecting the dunya. And then we have another category of people, too much focus on the dunya by neglecting the akhirah. So, I mean, the main point is to actually balance between those two things, balance between the dunya and akhirah. Now, so I feel we should also give some context after this, like maybe just a little bit. We are not like scholars that can start defining what haram or halal is, but just like an overview of what haram or halal is. Like what can we define as haram money, and what can we define as halal money or halal wealth? Maybe we should just use wealth instead. I think wealth is a better thing to use. So what can we define as halal wealth and haram wealth? Can Abdullah just give some insight on that?
Yeah, basically, these are Arabic terms. So like you said, so you cannot do perfect justice to it. And to be honest, Arabic is so, it's so, I don't know how to say it, it's so fundamental that there is no way you can translate it to get the exact meaning that it's meant to convey. So we can only try our best. So basically, haram is a term in Arabic and also a term in Islam. So it's like Islamic lingo. So, and it's basically something that is forbidden. Right? Something that is forbidden. Haram generally is anything that is forbidden, irrespective of haram actions, things that you shouldn't do, like prostitution, premarital sex, and postmarital sex, extramarital sex, extramarital affairs, extramarital affairs, like consuming alcohol and stuff like that. So there can be haram actions, there can be haram relationships, there can be haram ends. So haram generally is what is forbidden in Islam. And how do you know what is forbidden in Islam? This is based on what's Quran and Sunnah. So what Allah tells us in Quran that these are haram. There are some things that are clear in Quran, right? For example, Allah says in the Quran, وَحَلَّ اللَّهُ لَكُمُ الْبَيْعَ وَحَرَّمَ الرِّبَا. So sales, buying and selling, Allah has made it halal. So far we follow the principles. And interest is clear, Allah has made it haram. So this is clear. So things that comes in the Quran as this is forbidden, that's haram. And there are some things that come from the explanation of the Prophet alayhi salam. So what the Prophet has told us from the wahyu, from the revelation that he got from God, that this is allowed, this is permissible, and this is impermissible. Those impermissible things in Islam are what is called haram in general. Oh, and you mentioned haram money. So haram money, like the money aspect of it, right? So money that you earn from what is forbidden in Islamic Sharia, right? So I mentioned Islamic Sharia because people used to think Sharia is just a very small portion of this punishment and that punishment. Sharia is like the guideline of any Muslim. right from when you were giving birth to, the way your parents should have taken care of you, to when they will bury you. So encompassing like from beginning to the end. So Sharia is not just punishment for stealing or punishment for this and that. So what is forbidden in Islamic Sharia, this is what is called for any, this is what is called haram. So for example, again, this is very wide. So I just want to like just pick small, like when we talk about corruption. So bribery, money that you earn from killing, from cheating, and all of those things. These are haram that I'm sure we'll touch more on those, inshallah.
Yeah, just like you mentioned, when you mentioned Sharia outside, it's like, who is now and I want to start killing people? I think Sharia has been really attributed with that part of like killing. A lot of people don't even understand that Sharia. Sharia is just like law, right? Sharia is just like law.
Yeah.
So it encompasses more than just the whole punishment thing. So when you mention Sharia and something, they just look at you that yeah,
the reason for that is because a lot of people have misused it. So that's why I made it clear that what Allah commands us and what the prophets. So some category of people is using Islam for politics and stuff like that. So they just pinpoint the ones that are useful for them. So they call it Sharia. So this is what has caused misconception for a lot of people.
Exactly.
About haram money is, I think, majorly the source. Because there's also this hadith that there was a man that was traveling, his clothes was dirty, what he eats is not pure. He raised his hands up to Allah, making a supplication. And Rasulullah was like, how would Allah give supplication? Because Allah is pure and does not accept anything that is not pure. So if the source of our income is something that is not pure, then whatever we do with it, some people are robbing Hood. So they steal money and then they make sadaqah with it and think that Allah just because you are doing something good with the money that you stole. The source of the money, so whatever you do with the money has no basis as far as Allah is concerned.
That's very important.
When you mentioned some people are Robin Hood, so something is funny. I remember there was a day Sheikh Asim was asked that if you earn your money, like primarily in haram ways, maybe from interest and all those things, can you go to Hajj? Can you send people to Hajj, to purify your purely haram ways? Like there is no concept of Robin Hood in Islam. That was the first time I heard about that word, Robin Hood. There is no concept of Robin Hood that you go and steal from someone and use it for someone else. So, like she mentioned, like the source in Allah, is pure. You will not accept whatever is not pure. So it's just not it.
I think that's where the topic actually comes from, right? That's where we have the haram money, halal vibe. I mean, you earn money from corruption, you earn money from stealing, and then you want to be vibing. Let me send people to Makkah. Let me send people to Umrah. Let me build masjids. I mean, that's the whole halal vibe.
Ramadan Sadaqah.
Ramadan if you get it. So that's the whole thing. Like, how can you bring? It's just like you're trying to bring two unlike charges together, or is it unlike poles, or how does that work? Two like. No, okay. I don't think we can use that example. I don't think we can use that example.
Yeah, the static. yeah.
Unlike poles, unlike magnetic poles, actually attract. But in this case, those things are
you can say if you are bringing like water and fire. I don't know why this thing keeps on.
Exactly.
Like you are bringing water and fire together.
Exactly. You want to put water and fire together. So what's going to happen? One has to die for the other. So that's basically
the end doesn't justify the means in Islam. So
okay. I just remember the description
has to be taken care of.
Now, so there was this lecture by Professor Alaro. So he was talking about that in Islam, like in English, you just have word and opposite, right? But in was he in Sharia or in Islam? So he was talking about Tawheed. The lecture was based on Tawheed. That in Islam, there's a concept in Islam, like you have some word and opposite that cannot coexist. For example, you have some word and opposite that can coexist. Like, for example, you have black and white. Black and white can coexist, right? You can wear a black cloth and you can wear a white cloth. But there's another type of word and opposite that cannot coexist in Islam. So just like you mentioned, water and fire. So that's the same. He was actually trying to talk about Tawhid in that lecture. I'm just trying to link it here. Tawhid and Shirk. I mean, there are not things that can once there is Shirk like this. I mean, that just it puts off everything. So that's the kind of word and opposite things that cannot coexist. So I just remember that explanation when you mentioned water and fire. I would require wanted to add something.
No, I said the same with Quran and music.
No.
Yeah, it cannot coexist in your stomach at the same time.
Exactly. So I think the next thing we should talk about right now.
Wait, do you know the funniest thing before you move ahead? The funniest thing
Okay.
about that is some people actually try to oppose it.
Okay.
They will tell you that you can actually be an hafiz and still be singing. So, but they don't get the gist. The gist is not to have the Quran in your stomach, in your mind. The gist is to know it and be able to act upon it. The ultimate goal is not to just have the Quran up there.
That's
the ultimate goal is to
definition
be
of
able to apply it in your daily life. So that's what cannot coexist.
No. That's the real definition of hafiz. Hafiz is like protection, right? Somebody that protects something, like the source of the word. I'm not really a scholar, but I've listened to some scholars try to explain what hafiz means. It's like protection, right? So I mean that's basically what it is. When you start to make something like music with that, then you're basically not fulfilling. I mean, automatically it makes the person not have hafiz, but we can still call the person an hafiz, right? But it doesn't actually still means the person is unhappy. So I think, I like the example that you gave too, and that's a very important example.
That makes sense.
Now. So I think the next thing we should talk about is like wealth, right? It's not like we are saying wealth is not important. Like wealth is important. So what are some benefits of having wealth that we can just a few benefits that we can just talk about and just to show that okay, it's not like we are saying having wealth is bad, right? I mean, look at Ustaz Abdullah, see the nice cap. I mean, you can't buy those caps with stone, right?
They know the price. Subhanallah.
You can't buy that kind of cap with stone. Or it's not like you're going to go and pluck the cap on top of a tree somewhere. Caps don't go on trees, or money doesn't even grow on trees. So how do we, or what are some benefits of wealth? I think Rukoya should go first to start out.
Well, I think for me, one of the greatest benefit of wealth is from the hadith of Rasulullah that says that we are not allowed to, not verbatim now, but at least what I can remember from it is we are not allowed to become envious of anyone except in two scenarios.
No.
So the first one is the one who has knowledge, either the knowledge of the Quran, basically, or some beneficial knowledge, and the person learns this thing for Allah's sake and teaches it for Allah's sake. And the second scenario is someone who has wealth, halal wealth now, and spends it purely for the sake of Allah.
Okay.
So imagine all the kinds of people that exist in the whole world. And Rasulullah is telling us that only two people that are actually qualified to be envied are just these two people. And one is knowledge and the second one is wealth. So if of all the things that can qualify, if wealth is qualifying, then it is important as Muslims to actually be well, to even if not wealthy, but at least have money. Because it's one of the things that I would like to put it now, one of the things that would actually grant someone the best of Jannah if one uses it to the best of use. Same thing for the Quran as well. So that's one of the benefits of having money or maybe creating wealth. So you're able to benefit others, you're able to get the best of Jannah. And also there's this verse of the Quran that says that use what you have in this world to prepare your hereafter. So if me as a person, I earn so much halal money and I'm able to like sponsor a lot of people, do a lot of things, do a lot of sadaqah and all that, I won't be on the same level with someone that is unable to do all of these things. And maybe the person who does not even do some of the other little things that Rasulullah mentioned. Because I remember there's also an hadith on when some of the Sahabas were like that, these people that are rich, they'll get everything that is in Jannah. And we that we don't have the money, that what can we do? And it was like, okay, do subhanallah, like all these little adhkars, that they are also sadaqah and all that. But the thing is, not everybody will be able to do all these things, because it's easy for you to have money and just assign it to do this thing. It's easy to make money work for you. But the average person that is not wealthy, what will be on the person's mind is maybe how to create money, or maybe pushing from one issue to another issue or something. Like person might not even have so much time to even sit down to worship Allah. And to me, but I feel like if you have money, you even have time to like do some things. You'll be able to aside putting your money to use, you'll be able to do some other act of ibadah, because your mind is kind of free to some extent to think about all of these things. There's nothing like, okay, I'm having money issues and like I have to quickly go and do this thing and all that. I don't know if you're getting what I'm driving at, but I feel like money just makes even doing Islam easy for you. If you're not wealthy, you can't go for Hajj. Like if you don't have the means, you can't go for Hajj. You can't do zakah. So I feel like it's good to have money. Halal money, by the way. It's very, very good to have money.
Yeah,
So
but I just want to add something to what you said. That there's a catch. There's also a catch to having money, right? I think you made it sound too easy by talking about money that way. So the catch is some of those very rich people, right? They don't even have time to. They don't have time. When you have so much money, I mean, you are so much engaged in how to manage the money, how to, I think many times how to get more money, that you, at the end of the day, you still don't have that time. I think the only fundamental difference is like you have the capability to do more than somebody that does not have money, right? But it's still, I think that time factor is still like, I don't know. I think I feel sometimes the people that don't even have money may even have more time to spend on act of ibadah or act of ibadah than somebody that has money. It might just be easier for somebody that have money. Maybe, I mean, they have air conditioned. Maybe, for example, during the time of summer where it is very hot, where maybe when the weather is very hot, they have air conditioned room, or they have places where they can just easily enter, turn on the AC, mashallah. all the no, I feel all the Quran will just be flowing. But I I still feel there's a catch to having
Why
money.
you sleep?
There's a catch to having
oh,
money
I feel
in
like
terms of time.
so it's
I think what you guys
hard
are trying
to
to
have
say is
money
that
in your hand, right? And not have it
Mhm.
in your heart. So I feel
Yes,
like for
that's
some
the
people,
theoretical thing. But most people that have money, are they like that? I think that's the question we need to ask. Most Muslims that
I've
you
always
never
had
have
this
money, are they like that?
that if your money is halal, actually, you
Yes.
are not so hell bent on making more money. Like I don't know how to put it. Not like there's this contentment that comes with having your money the halal way. Those who
Okay.
are after money that they end up not being contented are those that
Um.
actually get money from means that are not halal,
Oh,
because it's never okay for them. The greed is
oh,
always there. So
that's a
there's no content.
hypothesis.
I
Okay.
think what Ukaya is saying there and what Ibrahim is saying there is even if you have money from halal means doesn't mean you'll be satisfied, right? So and actually the reality is satisfaction doesn't primarily comes from money. It can help. It can help, but primarily doesn't come from money. So I think it's
Mhm.
more of the goal as a Muslim is not to have money. The goal is to earn money to use it, for good things, to earn akhirah. So our goal
Mhm.
is not I want to earn more money. So even if you have your money from halal sources, but your goal is I want to compete in the best cars, I want to use the best phones, I want to use the best laptops. Even if it's 100, even if it's 1000% halal, you might not still be satisfied. You still like keep pursuing more, and you never be able to rest. So just my own addition is that money is a test, right? As much as poverty is good and is not ultimately bad. So at least we know from the stories of the prophets, like from the Sahaba that were prophets, there were a lot of them that were extremely rich, the kind of riches that we cannot have in this life again, even from the prophets too. Like Uthman bin Affan, and it was one of those that were actually promised Jannah from dunya. They were promised paradise before they even died, like
No,
Abdurrahman bin Auf. So as
no.
much as there were people that were very poor too, and that doesn't stop them from earning Jannah. So one thing that we need to make clear is the goal is not to be poor. That can be your qadar. At the end of the day, you might strive and strive and strive, and you are still poor. So even as a Muslim, there are a lot of hadiths that talks about the reward for those that are poor in akhirah. Let's be realistic. There are a lot of hadiths that talk about the benefits, the extra benefits for being poor. But the goal is not for you to aspire to be poor, right? The goal is that's like consolation for you've tried your best, but Allah doesn't give you the votes. But still, you stick to the deen. You do you discharge all your duty to Allah, and you're able to meet Him good. Then you can have those extra benefits. So the goal is not to say, oh Allah, I want to be poor so I can enter Jannah before the rich ones, right? That's not the goal. So the goal is, oh Allah, I want to have as much as possible to sustain my life. Because think about it, right? Like Okoya says, there are a lot of things that if you want to do it in this, like you just have to have money. I was talking to Ibrahim the other time that Ustaz Rahman Hassan, if you guys know him. So he was explaining the way scholars used to arrange their books in the book of fiqh, right? And it was like they will start from Salah is the key to Jannah, right? So they will start from Tahur, like ablution and all of this, because that's the key to Salah. Then they will go to Salah, then they will go to business, how to earn money, all of those things, tijara and stuff, before they now talk about marriage. He says, because for you to marry, you need some money, right? You need to be able to sustain your family. You need to get house. Like Allah did not say, the Prophet did not say go and marry. He said, if you are capable, right? So for you to be capable, you need some money. So money is really, really necessary, right? To discharge a lot of things in Islam. Because she mentioned the example of the hadith of the people that came to meet the Prophet. Actually, the hadith, just to expand on it a bit, they came to him and they were like, the rich among us have amassed all the benefits of Islam, right? How come I call? Not exactly what they said. They are praying as we are praying. They are going for jihad as we are going for jihad. They are doing all of these things. But in addition to that, they're able to do sadaqah. They're able to give zakat. They're able to do more things that we cannot do. Right? So the point there is, with money, with wealth, you can do more things that you might not be able to do. When you cannot help the poor by being poor, like literally, you can expand on that more than that, but literally you can't help the poor by being poor. You need some. So it's a test. Now depends on how you use it. That's just what I want to say in a nutshell.
That's really a nutshell. Okay, I'm just
I think you mentioned one thing. Was it me or you that mentioned it? One poem of Imam Shafi'i.
Oh, that was you.
I don't know if it was you or me, but I know I came across it from that if you forgot you back and feel bad or something like that. Like if you have like a lot of faults.
Yeah, if your faults people know you too much in front of people.
Exactly, and you wish that they are concealed.
They were covered.
So one of those ways that you can be good to people, Allah, is to do good deeds to them. If you do a lot of good deeds like sadaqah, for example, let me give an example. I'm not going to mention his name. Like there's a popular man, that has like oil company that sponsors a lot of people, stuff like that. People will never talk about his bad parts, even if he has. Do you get the point? So although this is not the aim for a Muslim, it's not to be good. It's not just for people to talk about is good, is this or that. So, but those are like the extra benefits. When you are wealthy and you spend it the right way for Allah, so you just become automatically good in the face of people. When you die, like, so Allah, he was very good. He assisted me on this, even after you died. So that's another benefit that I think comes with having some wealth. It doesn't mean you must have a lot or stuff like that.
I'm just going to add something to that. There's this dua that we are recommended to say after, I think that should be after Salatul Subh. Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'a wa rizqan tayyiba. Like, what is tayyiba wa amalan mutaqabbala. So like that rizqan tayyiba that's risk that is pure, right? No, and then ilman nafi'a, and then like combination of ilm and nafi'a, like knowledge that is beneficial and risk that is pure. I mean, if you have knowledge that is beneficial, I mean, you can also have knowledge of how to use the risk that is pure when you have that knowledge. Because somebody that does not have knowledge of how to use risk, like just like you said, you mentioned about the book of fiqh some minutes ago, like somebody that does not have that knowledge, how do you expect the person to spend the risk, even if the risk is pure? there's no knowledge, right? So person will probably just not spend the risk the way the risk is meant to be spent. So I just wanted to add that even making dua also, why one is making dua for risk, it's still also very important to make dua to Allah to give somebody the knowledge to spend that risk the way Allah will be pleased with one, right? So not just paying for risk. Oh Allah, give me risk. Oh Allah, give me risk. You know, that's very common these days. People want money by all means.
Because we are going to account for it.
No, we are going to account for it on Yom
We are
Qiyamah.
going to account where we got the risk. There's an hadith for that, right? Okoya, where we got our provision in this world.
I think that's
So I think it's like
when
there's
the
no
child is
step.
in the womb, right?
I didn't get that.
Like I said, like that's for like when the child is still in the womb, like the things that are written for the child. Is that what you're?
I actually mean like there is a hadith. I can't remember the exact wording. Like on the day of Qiyamah, you would not like move a step. That might not be translated literally. So until you are asked for like 3 things, if I'm not wrong, where you end your wealth, like the source of your wealth, right? And
I think it's 4 things.
Is it 4? Okay,
remember.
okay.
Yeah, I know wealth.
I know 2 things
are
are there: the source and how you spend it.
No,
Those
how you
2
spend
things are
it.
the
Yeah,
source of your
those 2
wealth,
things.
how you spent it. So those 2 things I remember very well.
No.
So whether you have it a lot, and the more you have it, the more the test that comes with it. That's just what we have to be clear about.
No.
That's why I say it's not ultimately good. The more you have it, the more the challenges. So you want to have more, you want to sustain being wealthy. You don't want to go back to being poor. At the same time, you want to discharge your duty to your Lord and to people around you. So the more you have it, the more the challenges. So, but if you're able to discharge those duties, then you have extra daraja, like extra rewards.
No. Along what you just said too, there's this other hadith I did from a scholar. Like this week, I was listening to a lecture. He mentioned that there were some people that the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did not pray when they died. He did not pray janaza on them because they were having money, like they were owing some people, or was it? I don't know how to describe this. They had some debts.
Yeah, debts.
And he did not pray.
Unpaid debts.
Yes, he did not pay. He did not pay janaza on them because they had unpaid debt. That just goes
until someone said he would help him to pay it.
No, that just goes to show the magnitude of debts as well, like your wealth. I mean, I think there's something we are going to see along that later when we're talking, inshallah. Yeah, we said a lot already. I think we should just talk about like just a little bit. Why do people earn haram money, or why do people want to earn haram money? What attracts people to haram money these days? I know the world has become, I don't know, maybe a little bit difficult, and then maybe part of what is making it more difficult is because there's so much show off at the same time. You have social media, everybody is showing on social media, I have this, I have that, I have this, I have that. And then everybody wants to also have this, have that. Could that be part of the reason why people are attracted to haram? Or yeah, just like your view on that. Why do you think people are attracted to haram money or haram wealth? I think Rukoya can go first this time around.
I think I was thrown out for a while.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I was saying that, okay, aside the fact that there's a shaitan factor, right?
Okay.
Because that shaitan uses, let me say, some tools that Allah has given to shaitan to test man with, and one of them is wealth. So that's why you would even see a lot of Muslims becoming non-Muslims because of what they want from the hand of non-Muslims, and because those ones are telling you have to do this thing before we can give you this, so they end up falling into that trap. So I feel like, yeah, the fact that shaitan promises wealth unconsciously to us in a way, because if you're in a financial crisis, for instance, now that's when you start having thoughts like, should be this guy came to come and meet you the other time, that you should do these bets. No answer. Then you should come and do this riba stuff, and you didn't answer. Continue to face your problem and all that. So I feel like sometimes that's one of the reasons, because there's no istiqamah. So there's no steadfastness. Sometimes some people don't even know that what they're doing is haram, right? And sometimes some even know, But because of this immediate pleasure that comes from you having so much money and what you can do with that money, sometimes it is power that makes people like go for haram money, because they feel like if I should do this thing sharp, it's quickly blue and something will happen. I'll be able to like do this stuff and all that. So sometimes for some people, especially that are in political office, they know that some of these things are not right. And they know that they can actually have some control over maybe like sometimes if you are in a political office, especially in Nigeria, you might not be able to like totally avoid, or let me say they totally avoid some haram money, because sometimes you never know where the money is coming from. You just get it in your account and you don't know where it is coming from. So, but there are sometimes that even when they know, they still go for it because they feel like, see, it's just one life I have to live. YOLO, you only live once. So, and they want to as much as they want from this dunya. So I feel like those are like the real, like some of the things that really make people like just go for haram money, because number one is fast, it's quick, it's intoxicates,
Attractive.
attractive, yes, it's very attractive, and it's very easy in a way. What you just
Yeah.
have to kidnapping, just kidnap somebody, sell sharp. You even see a lot of customers, you sell sharp and you've gotten your money. So like it's so nearer, so easy. Or like when you're trying to like create halal means of money, halal
No.
means of
Sustainable.
sustenance, and have to be like, very rigorous about it. You have to work hard. You have to boycott a lot of things just because they are haram, and except for you, Allah makes it easy for. And even nowadays, like the hadith of Rasul, that a time would come when people would notice where their money is coming from, as long as there's money. So they don't even want to know where it's coming from. And that's one of the signs of the end of time. Like as end of time comes closer, then people pay less attention to where their money is coming from. May Allah just grant us halal means of sustenance, and may grant us efficiency as well.
Um, that's very important. I think before Abdullah said anything, while Rukoya was talking, something came to my mind. I think another thing I'm going to add to what Rukoya said is peer pressure, right? Peer pressure. I mean, you have 5 friends. 3 of them have started driving Mercedes-Benz G-Class. The other one is driving Honda, and then you are there. I mean, there is definitely going to be some form of peer pressure, and then the apart from peer pressure, right, the other pressure from home as well, sometimes family pressure or home pressure, and then the same guy goes back home and then they are telling him at home that she or then you want around or in, can't you see your friends? Can't you see your friends? Like, where are your friends getting the cars from? Where are they getting the money to buy those things? And you're just there. You're just there. Maybe they are even using you, say, they are using your own what they used to call what's Ogo in English.
Glory.
Yeah, maybe they're even using your own good yourself. All of them are writing bens. There you are. So things like that can also make someone can push somebody to start earning a lot of haram wealth. So just those are just 2 additions to what you said. I think Abdullah should conclude on this part before we move to another thing.
Yeah, 3 things were in my mind. You mentioned one of them, which is the environment. So I'll come back to it. But the first thing I think is lack of taqwa, wallahi. That's like the number one thing that comes to my mind. There is this ayah in the Quran that Allah says, are you the one that distributes the wealth of Allah? So it's the one that distributes it, and it's not equal.
No.
And this is part of his ultimate wisdom, right?
No.
So what I will have in life, it's not what you have. So every one of us can actually have it's fast reference to things like this. So you might think of, oh, I graduated, I had the best GP, I did thing, and that person that is far below me was already doing his PhD, maybe he's in his 3rd or 4th year before I even got an admission. So every one of us has like a fast reference to things like this. So if you know how to talk about to accept the qadar of Allah, right? So you look at people around you, people that you graduated together, stuff like that. That person is married, that person is in car, this person has his own house, that person has moved to Dubai. So, and you are just there, you are working harder than these people, you are smarter than these people, you are putting in so much effort, right? That everybody knows you, but some way, somehow, it's not just working out for you, right? So the ability to accept that this is the will of Allah, right? So you can't go beyond what Allah has written that you will have in this life. So no matter the efforts, right? You can put effort and effort, but if Allah doesn't want you to have it, and this is part of His wisdom, and this is just a test. So we just have to know, like at the back of our mind, that everything in this life is a test, right? 1 + 1 does not have to be 2. At times, 1 + 1 in Allah's decision might be 100, right? You might be so lazy and you're just falling back into wealth. You're just falling back into success, right? The less you are trying, the more the success is coming. And you might be so hardworking that success is coming, or the other one, right, is coming. So 1 + 1 can be 0, it can be 5. So the ability to accept that this is the decision of Allah, that's number one thing, right? Not to go out of your way to go and seek impermissible ways, to cut shortcuts and all of these things. So that's number one thing. Then number two, like you mentioned, I think Okoya mentioned this a bit, like competition, right? There is this ayah in Quran, Al-Hakumut Takathur. So competition for worldly things has deceived us a lot. If you look at a lot of social media today, we can talk of, let's be realistic here, talk of Instagram, for example. A very high percentage of people that are on there, I'm not saying it's haram to be on there, I have an Instagram account, even though I do it, but a high percentage of people that are on there is just show off. What clothes, what designer clothes are you putting on today? What designer shoe? Which car did you just get? Which phone did you just get? Which travel did you just add? It's mostly show off. And the more this show off, the amount of this show off, the more people, are envious of these things. People are jealous, people want to have these things too. So from there, this person is competing with that person, and that person is competing with that person. At the end of the day, subhanAllah, we don't care where we earn our money again. And the last one is the environment factor that you mentioned. And wallahi, to me, this is like the most emotional one for me. Like, people are literally looking at you. They want you to be like that person that seems successful, and they don't want to care how you get. They don't care about how you get there. I don't know if that makes sense. So there are a lot of parents that you go and meet them today that, don't you see your child? What he's doing is fraud. Like, he's literally defrauding people to earn money. And he keeps building house, keeps buying car. Are you not going to correct him? What are most families saying today? They will say, just leave him. So far he has money. Money no day before, even if you know do him, whether you do him or you know do him, even if he's very faithful, no matter what you do, money no go come, right? Now he has money, you are still saying the way he earns it is bad. So because he wants to boast in the party that my children, they are now in, all of them are now in Dubai, they are now in US, UK, and all of those things. So this environment factor is a terrible one. Ibrahim has already mentioned most of it. Like, people are looking at you, people want you to be there, and they don't care about the path that you go to, because a lot of people today, a percentage of people are into what is haram, which is mostly fraud these days, which is very sad, particularly in this part of the world, right? So it's affecting others too. Younger ones that are growing up, they are looking at you, that faithful, you even go for salah, you do all of those things, you work hard, but somehow you are using one Adam CAT, right? Not necessarily that for everyone. There are a lot of people that are hardworking and they have this wealth. But at the same time, there are people that are hardworking and don't have. So they will not see that person that is hardworking and has that wealth. They will only be seeing the person that is hardworking but is suffering. You will not see that guy that is not really doing anything. You just do like 2 hours internet scam and blah blah blah, and it's big already. So, and they will look at it like, why should I go through this hard way if I can, just do this smart way? They will say it's working smart. And this is a major issue. May Allah prevent us and our family from this, because it's spreading fast. It's spreading fast, and it's become acceptable in the community. People don't really see it as something that is impermissible again, and this is the danger. Right?
Yeah, there was one time recently that there was this
like the metric of success now for the average community is how much money you have. Like, I feel like that's one of the issues, because the metric of success that people are using in every environment, almost all cultures, the metric of success they use is how much money the person has, and that's very, very faulty.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's not even about how much you're contributing to the society or how much. Whatever. It's just a function of how much money. What car do you ride? When you come in with Mercedes Benz, I want to do. I'm like, yes, go. I think one thing I wanted to add to what Abdullah said is the whole environment thing. There was recently, okay, I don't know if it was recently. There was one time I saw one picture of mothers of Yahoo boys. They were protesting. I don't know if you also saw that picture that time. Yahoo boys, the mothers of people that were Yahoo boys were protesting. But you can imagine that if some people can come out publicly and call themselves mothers of Yahoo boys,
Oh,
that's
wow.
like that's crazy. That's that's
One,
extreme.
another thing that is another thing that is spreading the acceptance is, we joke with a lot of things these days. And
Yeah.
if you know me, I'm someone that like memes a lot. Like I literally have a group for meme, right? I do meme analysis and all of those things. But one thing that I've been calling like most of my friends' attention to these days, which I'm trying to, don't to not fall into it, is that a lot of these things are encapsulated in memes these days, and people are not realizing it.
No.
You are sharing a meme of someone scamming someone, and they are making laughing stock of the person that was scammed. And it's been funny. You are sharing it on your status, and everybody is resharing it. And everybody is sharing. You are making meme of someone slapping someone in the middle of the road. All these things, it has turned into memes, and slowly it's becoming part of us, and we are not.
Yeah, like as if we are subconsciously accepting it.
Yeah.
So another thing I was even going to bring up was, okay, what about I remember something like there's a situation of, okay, if Allah is the one that is like granting us sustenance, so definitely even if I'm earning haram money, then it's because Allah has written it for me as what I would be earning.
Exactly.
So that kind of mentality.
Yeah. That kind of mentality as well. That's very similar. In our previous episode, we talked about the whole thing of don't judge me, right? This is very similar to that thing of don't judge me. Why should you judge me? What if Allah has written it that this money is the money I'm going to get? So just a way of covering up that part that, okay, this money is actually haram. So just a way of finding that excuse that if Allah did not kuku write it, I will not kuku get it.
Okay, but is there anything that we can say to address something like that? Well, I'm definitely sure some people have that kind of mentality.
Oh, okay. Okay, to address the.
I mean, there is free will. There is free will. This is an established concept in Islam. You can decide to stand up now, right? You can decide to go and sleep. Allah has given you this free will. They can call Azan now. I can decide to remain seated, and I can decide to go. So ultimately, Allah is going to ask us. You remember the hadith of you will not move forward on the day of judgment.
No.
Until you are asked, where did you earn your wealth? If this is a valid excuse that this is my qadar, Allah will not ask you where did you earn your wealth. You will just say, it's qadar now. Let me write down. So this is very, I don't know, this is a very bad way of thinking. And the reality? The reality is we all know. It's not that these people that are saying these things don't know. They know what is right, they know what is wrong. But our ego, how do you say it? Like our love for this dunya, like I must have it anyway, anyhow. This is actually the issue. You can go around that to explain this hadith and that ayah, but these people know. You all know, right? So the ability to now accept these words of Allah, that's where the issue is. Yes,
May Allah make it easy for us to follow His commandment too, because it's easier said than done. It's easier said than done. May Allah just protect us from all these things we are talking about. And it's really it's a weird time to be alive, really. And I was just going to add something to the explanation, the answer Abdullah gave, which is I think that should be the third verse in Surah Al-Mulk, right? Which is الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا. So like Allah has given us Allah has created death and life to test which of us. I'm just giving an overview. I'm not a scholar to interpret. I'm just giving an overview of what the verse is talking about. Allah has created death and life to test which of us is going to be best in this. So it's basically a test. This whole life is basically a test. So deciding on one's own will that, okay, I'm going to do this, and finding a reason to do that while knowing that Allah does not want me to do this. And I think that's all part of the test, right? And just like you said on Yom Kiyama, we are all going to report to Allah back that, okay, this is the life you give to me. This is what I used it to do. And that is when, like, there's this Yoruba word that they used to use. I can't remember the Yoruba word. But that is basically when everything is going to become obvious and nobody, there is basically no going to be a way out. There won't be anywhere to run to. I mean, where does one want to run to? And Yom Kiyama, there's nowhere to run to. May Allah protect us from these kind of things. I think the episode is getting quite long. Maybe we should stop at this point because there's still a lot to talk about, right? There's still a lot to talk about, and we've spent about 15 minutes already. I mean, yes, this is 8:20 already. No, that's over like 15 minutes already. And there's still a lot more to talk about. I feel there's still a lot more to talk about.
Definitely a lot more.
So I feel we should end at this point on this note and just continue next time.
Do you have any concluding?
Concluding. do we want to conclude this?
Actually,
I don't have a conclusion yet.
No conclusion, really.
So far, I feel like yes, Allah may allow rights for us, our sustenance. Yes, but from deduction I've made now, from what Ibrahim and Abdullah has mentioned, is the fact that there's this concept of free will. So if Allah wills that, okay, yes, in this year, you'll be making probably $2 million. It is possible you will be making it the halal way, and it's also possible you're making it the haram way, based on what you have decided to do. So for those that feel like they are stifled, just be at the back of your mind that whatever Allah has written for you would always be yours. So just try to strive in the halal way and don't strive in the haram way, because either way, the money would still be yours. So together with getting whatever Allah has written for you, also gets the pleasure of Allah alongside it. So that I think that's where I would like to just conclude for today, because there's still a lot that has to be said that we've not even touched on.
That's a very great point to end with.
Now, let me add something to that.
Okay.
Right, if you permit me.
Right.
So the reason why I really want to add this is because someone might listen to this episode and not listen to the next episode. So I just want to point it out that, subhanallah, no matter what you earn in this world, whether you do it the halal way or you do it the haram way, this world is so ephemeral, right? So we are here today, tomorrow we are not. So, and it's not about your age, it's not about your wealth. Death can come anytime. Right? So, and once death comes, no matter what you've accumulated, so it's not yours anymore. So it's not yours, whether you've done it the halal way or you've done it the haram way. So, and the irony of this is on the day of Qiyamah, we are going to be asked about this, right? We are going to be asked about this. So, and subhanallah, on that day, there will be no currency to spend. You know, the person that you've taken his wealth in an illegal way, right?
Unjustly.
The person that you've stolen from, the person that you've deceived, that market that you've sold in a lesser quantity, right? And you've collected your money in full quantity. All this dubious way that people try to earn wealth, on that day, you will not be able to, pay it back with any currency. So the wealth that you left in the world will not be useful on that day. So the only thing that you have left is the good deeds. So, and bear in mind that no matter what, Allah, you are going to repay it back. Right? You are going to repay. This is what Allah has made us understand, that you are going to repay all these illegal way of earning. You are going to repay it back to people that you took it from. So, and the only way you are going to repay it back is from your good deeds. And the reality is most people that earn this way, they don't have enough good deeds. Right? People that earn the halal way are struggling with their good deeds. Talk less of someone that earn their own way. Because when you earn their own way, all the good deeds that you do with it is null and void. Allah doesn't accept what is impure. So you literally don't have good deeds to repay it back. So that people's bad deeds, right? The people that you took their property in unjustly, their own bad deeds will now be taken from them and be added to your own bad deeds. So, punishment over punishment. So this is just the reality of it. And this is what we have to bear in mind, that it's better to stay within what Allah has provided for you from your little struggling in this dunya, just to, live through it and go back to Allah than to have a lot of wealth and you get it unjustly, then you now be, you'll be so sad and, you really regret it on the day of Qiyamah. So this is just what I want to add. Like the Bohem said, it's easier said than done. I pray Allah make it easy for me, like for you guys, and for everyone listening and for everyone in this studio, so that we don't regret on the day of Qiyamah just because we want to drive Mercedes or have big house.
No, I just want to conclude with a dua, which is the last verse in Surah Al-Baqarah, right? La yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha. May Allah not test us beyond that which we are capable of handling. I think that's very important. May Allah not test us with wealth that we are not capable of, and capable of doing the way Allah will be pleased with us. I mean, just like Rukoya mentioned, the pleasure of Allah is very important. May Allah not test us in that way.
I thought you were going to say the dua of Allah makfini bi halalika and haram.
Oh, that's probably
that's a very profound dua.
That's probably going to come in the next episode, inshallah.
Okay.
So we mentioned some of the afkar recommended by the Prophet, inshallah. Now, I think we can conclude on this note. So, see you in the next episode. Inshallah, in the next episode, we talk more about solutions, how we can manage our earnings, how we can stay away from haram earnings, and how we can manage those things, inshallah. So see you in the next episode. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
إسلامي وإيماني أضاء الكون وزمن بإسلامي وإيماني أضاء الكون وزمن